of everything.
While we're here, we've got the camera in front of us. Why don't we discuss what's been going on then?
Could do.
Can we just discuss what's been going on?
I was almost rubbing up myself against his furry microphone.
All right, so basically, Steve has been, big up to Steve, don't think he? Because he actually found the footage that started all of the kind of what he called exposing of the Dawah teams. And one of the things was that if you look at my video on Raj Speaker's Corner, big up COE as well, like and subscribe. But when I saw your video, I had actually spoken to Abu Qasim 6 months earlier because I recognized him, but not from that video. But I didn't know exactly where. I actually thought it was Jihadi next door. So when you look at my videos, I'm running up to him saying, oh, Jihadi next door. And so I couldn't confront him properly then because I didn't have enough concrete proof and it would have been slander. So when you got the video footage, who gave you the video footage, that particular one?
I couldn't possibly say.
Oh. Oh, that was a bit. All right, so but you got the video footage.
I have my sources.
Yeah, you got the video footage, and then you was obviously one of the first people to openly confront him here. Yeah. And me and you know for a fact that this individual has been going Speaker's Corner for a long time. When I was first here,
much longer than you've been.
Yeah, actually, what was weird when I started checking my old videos, he was all over the place. Like in the background.
He's always been here. He's always been central to the Dawah teams. He's always been one of them with a big proper tripod of the Dawah teams. He's always been one that mics all the leading Sunni Muslim Dawah teams up. He's been part and parcel of them for years.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to say, "Oh, why are we bringing this up? Why are we bringing this up?"
Why are we bringing up the fact that someone's an Anjem Choudary
That's what people are saying.
Member.
I mean, what's your response to that?
Well, initially, like we always get when we uncover any of this evidence, it's just denials initially, isn't it? I mean, was it like week before last he was actually denying that he even knew who Anjem Choudary was? So you cannot believe a word these people say. So you simply cannot believe a word. That's never going to focus, Raj.
I don't think it's going to focus, but this video he's put up and he's put Paul Williams' little face on there, and he says, "Indeed, you approach men with desire instead of women. Rather, you are transgressing people, and we rained upon them homosexuals a rain of stones. Yeah. Then see how was the end of the criminal."
And who's saying this?
This was Abu Qasim's video, directed at Paul Williams.
How long ago?
This is like 8-9 months ago. You ever check your text? Because I sent it to you.
Did you? I get sent so much stuff.
So basically, the reason why Anjem Choudary is such a dangerous figure is because of the amount of people that are linked directly to him who actually have killed people.
Yeah.
We're not talking about, people say, oh, we support Tommy Robinson. Now, whether we do or not, you can't have a direct link to any individual that has gone out and murdered people. You can say about Joe Cox and the other individuals.
Whereas the majority, might even be all, but certainly the vast majority of all the Muslim terrorist attacks that we've had in Britain are part of, have links to, are directly connected to Anjem Choudary.
All right, so
and his band of dangerous clowns.
All right, so let me read out some of the people.
So of course, when we discover there's one person that's part of that same network of dangerous clowns is regularly coming to Speaker's Corner, and is entwined with the Dawah teams, of course we're going to talk about it.
No, but you can't say that. He was going boots. No, in his defence, he was going boots.
But you see, just follow this. One video was exposed.
No, the next time he was going spectators.
I know. Well, let me just say my piece. One video was exposed. First of all, it's denial, and then it's I wasn't part of it. I was just passing. I was on my way to Boots. I mean, for goodness sake, come up with a better excuse than that. I was on my way to Boots, and I just happened to pray. We then pointed out, well, you weren't just praying. You were standing next to Anjem Choudary, giving out Anjem Chowdary's leaflets. So then a bit more denial, and then the very next week we go and find another video of another moment on another high street when there is the same man
on Vice News.
On Vice News of all, so it wasn't even one of their own Dawah channels, it was a Vice News little news documentary. There's the same guy again,
but
with
this
Anjem
time, not
Choudary.
only was he with Anjem Choudary this time, he was with Abu Halima, one of the most dangerous people, Abu Bara, and Abdul Hakim.
Yeah.
These individuals also had direct links with ISIS John, Jihadi John and them lot. Yeah. So we're looking at people that haven't just done hate speech. We're talking about people that have
passed a comment in support, but someone who's been an active member of an active group that have killed people on the streets of this country and elsewhere. So yeah, and he's still he's here, grinning and smiling, and still he's here filming the Sunni Muslims. He was filming Ali Dawah earlier.
He shook Ali Dawah's hand, and Ali
Dawah shook his hand. And I challenged Ali Dawah at one point. I said, do you have no concerns that he's your cameraman? To which Ali Dawah's response was, he's not my cameraman. Yes, but he's standing there with his tripod filming you. You've just shaken his hand.
The last 2 years.
If I had a known terrorist supporter filming me, I would not be comfortable with that, and I certainly wouldn't be shaking his hand.
Well, let me just read out some of the people that have been directly with Anjem Choudary, not linked, but with him. The 7/7 bomber, Khan, Lee Rigby's killer, Adabajalo, the Westminster attacker, Masood, Karam Butt that used to go to Speaker's Corner. He was an individual that did it. The Islamic State executioner, Huck, and the Sri Lankan church bomber was also part of their group.
So multiple terrorists that have been part of this group. And as Raja just said, some of them regularly came to Speaker's Corner. Regular people that would appear here at Speaker's Corner. So is it any surprise to anyone that we're a little bit concerned that now there's another one, part of that same group, part of that same network, who's coming here to Speaker's Corner?
I'm going to ask this question to these guys. In 2017, Karam Butt killed 8 people on a London Bridge. We know he used to go here. We know he's part of Anjem Choudhary's inner circle. We know that Abu Qasim is part of Anjem Choudhary's inner circle. So, did you know anything, or was there any kind of inkling that Karam Butt was going to do a terrorist attack? And if so, what did you do about it to stop it? What did the Dawah teams know? And I'm going to say this, you're going to say it's slanderous, but if Abu Qasim is part of Anjem Choudhary's crew, a lot of them have gone on to kill people. Karam Butt used to go Speaker's Corner. He must have talked to some of the Dawah team. He was definitely talking to Abu Qasim. What did people know about this individual and maybe not report because they don't want to show the sins of their brothers?
And even if for 1 minute we accept they didn't know, maybe they didn't know, me and Raj have discovered stuff that they didn't know about. Let's give them the benefit of that doubt for 1 minute. They do know now, and they're still over there being filmed by him, shaking his hand. Having been told of this information, they're still happy to be associated with these people, to be filmed by these people, to have their microphone clips put on them. They are still doing that now as we speak. Explain that to me.
Look, for me personally, they can do what they want. They can have their camera guy come in, they can do whatever they want. If he's an Anjem Choudary supporter, they'll let him in. But the one thing I can't stand, for the last 2 years, you've been called a racist, an extremist, and a hate preacher. I've been called a racist, extremist, and a hate preacher. But within your own circles, you have real extremists that have links with people that have actually killed people. On top of that, you have the individual Abu Qasim calling for the stoning of Paul Williams, basically. Another Muslim that tried to call these people out. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, Paul Williams has some kind of Adnan, kind of like blurred Adnan kind of glasses on. And he can't see that the guy at the route.
But I will say, though, to give Paul credit where it's due, Paul seems to be one of the very few Muslims who has calling out these extremists.
Yeah, he has.
He has done that. We have to give him credit where it's due.
The problem,
but he still seems to be hero-worshipping some of the people that aren't calling.
So I had a conversation with Paul. He can deny this, but I'm going to say it. I had a conversation with him outside a police station the other week, and he told me that Abu Qasim was still putting up ISIS propaganda videos just 4 to 5 months ago, and he got the channel removed. When I asked about Adnan Rashid's links to him, his response was, Adnan doesn't know anything. No, I don't take that. Adnan Rashid, either you're dumb or you're clever. Which one is it?
Or just a liar.
Because he said he chooses to come across that, I'm an intellectual. If you're such an intellectual, you would have known about your cameraman a long time ago, having those links to those individuals.
But then he would have also known about Sheikh Faisal, wouldn't he? When he was actively calling for support for Sheikh Faisal. Yeah. Years after Sheikh Faisal had been thrown out of Brixton Mosque because he'd been such an extremist, because he was spouting such hate, such racist hate. He'd actually been thrown out of Brixton Mosque years before the point in time that Adnan Rashid was actively supporting him. Now, again, yes, we're supposed to believe that Adnan's an intellectual and a scholar and etc., etc. You didn't know that? You didn't know that bit of that guy's history at that point in time?
All right, so in his defence, I'm going to try and be neutral. If he did have those extremist views, and he changed his views.
Who?
Adnan Rashid. Because we know if you're supporting Sheikh Faisal and you knew he was going to court, and you knew there was a court case against him for preaching hate, which he was later convicted, he must have known the kind of details of the court case.
And I think am I right in saying that the specific court case that he was being called to then was for calling for the murder of Jewish people?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So he knew this was the court case that he was then convicted for 8 years. Now the thing is that if he did have the extremist views then and he changed, and then he come out and said it was me, but I've changed my views.
Yeah, I was young, I was foolish,
Yeah.
I didn't know better,
Because
but I do now,
happens.
and I reject it now, and I condemn it now. Yeah, that's what a sensible person would do.
But when you're lying about your links to Sheikh Faisal, you're lying that you didn't know anything about Abu Qasim. We don't know who else in the park has links to radicals now. And what we will do is we will find out. Because
without doubt.
We'll
without
find
doubt,
out.
we will.
Yeah, Steve and me are now the dynamic duo. I'm definitely Batman, though.
No,
I'm Batman. You're going to have to be Robin, man. I'm sorry. I have to be the leader in this. Oh, we could choose one that's equal. We'll choose someone that's equal. We'll find another one. So basically, I think everybody needs to kind of get together, even the Muslims, the Sunni Muslims, because I'm getting sick and tired of the Sunni Muslims going, okay, why are you highlighting this? And they're putting complaints against me. What they should be doing is like, okay, let's root these people out because they're making our religion look bad.
It's their community that's going to be harmed by this nonsense, not your community, not my community. They should be the ones that are out there campaigning and dealing with this actively, not you, not me. But why aren't they?
Well, this is the biggest...
But, and again, you might think there's all this, don't dob your Muslim brother in it and don't do it publicly. Well, so you might therefore think, well, maybe they're just doing it in private and they're admonishing him and condemning him in private. Well, they're not, because they're still shaking his hands over there and being filmed by him over
I've
there.
asked this question, and it's a very important question. If you found out one of your Sunni... Look, at the end of the day, I'm not a Shia, the third... They keep saying I'm the 13th Imam of the Shias. I am not pro-Shia. I have problems with Shia Islam as well. But they have a right to come to the park and not be persecuted by the Sunnis who then call us Islamophobes, because you're the biggest Islamophobes. But there aren't Shias going around blowing themselves up in the UK. There aren't Shias going around stabbing people around the UK. Yeah. It's a particular strain of... Big up. Vidu Vids, we don't say he's in the corner here. Big up to Vidu Vids, man. He's his father-in-law in the house, man. Big up. So basically, we don't have Shias doing this. And so we've got to start differentiating why is the group that is responsible for the majority of the Islamic terrorist attacks from that particular group, and why are the Muslim community upset when you're highlighting that within your own Dawah team?
And why do they not feel a need to condemn it publicly? Why do they feel a need, or why do they not feel a need to condemn Abu Qasim publicly? Why?
Yeah, I mean,
Why
even
is
now,
that? Why is that?
Even now that we've shown so much proof, because there's also another video of him with audio saying that anyone that doesn't support al-Baghdadi or ISIS is basically a Jew.
Who's saying that?
Abu Qasim.
Abu Qasim.
So he's saying that on the audio, that anyone that doesn't support them is a Jew. So we have homophobia, we have extremism, anti-Jewish hatred. We have his links to Anjem Choudary. We have his links to all of these individuals that have committed terrorist attacks. Why the Sunni Muslim not calling him out? Why are they going for us?
Well, could it be because they agree with him?
Well, this is what
Could
I need to ask.
it be that they're part of the same group as him?
Yeah.
Could it be they don't agree with him and they're not part of the same group, but they're just too embarrassed to talk about it?
You should be embarrassed.
But then do they not feel what any right-minded person is going to conclude
let
by
me say
observing
something.
that?
Being embarrassed is good, because you should be embarrassed that your Dawah teams have ISIS and...
I'm just trying to analyse and think and guess. Why? Well, here's one of them. Here's a decent one. Mate, would you like to join us? Join us, please. We'll treat you nicely and kindly.
No, we're basically talking about...
Brexit, please.
No, we'll talk about Brexit later.
Not at the moment.
No, not right now.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. But we're talking about... we're talking about jihadis at the moment, extremists, so don't worry about that for me.
That you can deal
We're still in the middle of a conversation. We can talk about that in a minute.
Please join us.
I have requested you.
You're not allowed loudspeakers.
We'll talk about Brexit in a minute. Let's finish this first, though.
You're not allowed loudspeakers. You have to use your natural voice.
He's a disabled man.
So? There's not an exception to old men.
Yeah, so
Join us, please.
we can discuss
We'll do
Brexit.
that next, but
do that.
first, don't be shy. Come on, you stand in Leicester Square on a Friday night. If you can do that, you can take a few questions. You don't like cameras? Do you tell all your Dawah cameramen that?
Do you know...
You see me in the camera, you don't.
But do you know that we've exposed Abu Qasim, one of Adnan Rashid's camera guys, having
That's a,
having
Immediately
direct
jumps to
having
making that
or
point.
he's a Dawah cameraman.
no. He comes his own will.
But he's a Dawah
Dawah
cameraman.
Please make difference.
Right, so, but is he a Dawah
do,
cameraman?
do you condemn him?
Anybody. I
No,
condemn
him. Let's be
anybody.
specific.
Anybody who try to harm human being, I condemn all of everyone.
Do you condemn Anjem Choudary?
Of course I do.
Right, yeah, good. Do you condemn Abu Qasim for being part of Anjem Chowdhury's group?
If what you're telling me, if I see the evidence, of course
Yeah,
I
go
do.
to my
There
channel,
are
we've got it.
numerous
Do you want to see it
videos.
now?
There are numerous
You want to
videos.
see it now?
Wood green.
Come over here. Come over here. I'll show you.
I don't want to be the camera.
No, you don't need the camera. I can show you.
So you're saying you haven't seen the videos, but if you did see the videos, would
I
you
will
condemn
definitely-
him?
Of course I will.
Well, have a look.
Just give him the link so you can watch him there.
Okay. What is
I can't believe you haven't seen these before. It's been the subject of conversation for the last 4 weeks, and you haven't seen them yet.
Is it part of?
What's the guy's name? That's what I'm one that's cameraman.
Listen.
Yeah. So do you condemn him now? Good.
Well, suppose Anjem Choudary condemned him.
It's an obvious
Well, that's
thing,
easy.
isn't it?
That's the thing. So we got
there are still well-known Sunni Muslim speakers here that haven't condemned him and are shaking his hand and still being filmed by him and mic'd up by him.
But is he
What's that all about?
I know, but
He's here now. He's here.
support Anjem Choudary though?
Yeah. Four months ago, somebody took his videos down because he's posting on ISIS videos.
Well,
He's supposed
exactly,
no, not
but
Anjem Choudary, ISIS.
what we
as well.
can't understand is why aren't all the other Muslims saying what you're saying? And it worries us, because why aren't they saying that? Is it because they support him as well?
In fact, they're sending
Well,
complaints against us exposing
Yes,
them.
they're sort of threatening legal action.
Well, let me just say something, yeah? Sue us. One of my Sikh brothers, big up to him, I won't say the name, will pay the whole cost. Take us to court.
I think there'll be many people that
Take
pay
us
the
to
cost.
court. I'll do a GoFundMe because you know why?
So people threatening legal action because we're pointing out connections between people here and Anjem Choudary. People threatening legal action. They sound a bit worried, don't they?
Let me say something. If we went to court, we've already got the voice recognition sorted out with Adnan Rashid. It's 100% him. If they want to do another one to prove his innocence, we could do a GoFundMe and do it. If you've got nothing to hide, let's do it. If you want to take me to court, do it. Do it. I'd love it.
This is another slight subject, but you had a Sheikh Faisal. Do you know about Sheikh Faisal? So Adnan Rashid, who you must know about Adnan Rashid, who comes here regularly as well. Adnan Rashid, and this was a few years ago, is on video supporting Sheikh Faisal and actually encouraging Muslims to also support Sheikh Faisal. Adnan Rashid has denied that it's him in this video and come up with all the spurious nonsense that the video's been edited and whatever. And he's denied it month after month after month, even though when there's clear and audible video evidence of him supporting this Sheikh Faisal. Now, if you know anything about Sheikh Faisal, you'll know he's not a pleasant individual. He's not someone that you'd want to be associated with. And even though it was a few years ago, at the point that Adnan Rashid was supporting him, Sheikh Faisal had already been thrown out of Brixton Mosque for some of the hate and awful stuff that he put in his lectures. And
There is.
so we're just seeing and finding this evidence, and they're not reacting like you. Your reaction is the obvious, normal, sensible reaction. They're not reacting like that. So which means they are either part of these very worrying networks, or they're dumb, or they're more worried about not criticising their Muslim brothers because they believe that's what they're
Give them a
told to do.
chance.
But even if that was the case, do they not realise that the bigger consequence is people that are going to think they're connected with Anjem Choudary,
For a bit.
which is dumb all the way around. So, and as we were saying before you arrived, in the past there have been people that came here that were part of Anjem Chowdhury's
Coram
group
Butt?
that committed
Done the London Bridge-
terrorism.
he used to come here
So the
before.
London Bridge terrorist attacker came here regularly to speak.
And what you need to understand, let me say, this is not an attack on the Muslims. I know they think I'm going to war with Sunni Islam. What I'm trying to show is this. You're calling us extremists every week. We're hate preachers, this and that. We're Islamophobes, but you treat the Shias terribly. You treat the Sufis terribly within your own sects. You then have individuals within your Dawah teams have known links to people that actually murdered people and done terrorist attacks. It's the hypocrisy we're going to show. Yeah.
All they want to do is throw insults at us.
I mean, look at where Adnan, what's his name? Ali Dar was all ad hominems. There was nothing about condemning the man. He shook his hand, didn't say what he did was wrong.
To shake his hand today, after weeks and weeks and weeks of this being talked about, not the brightest thing to do. If their purpose is Dawah, to spread the word of Islam and to spread Islam, do they not get, that's not Dawah. That's going to do the opposite. That's going to turn people against Islam.
Look,
So
the main problem is this. As people that believe in free speech, I do defend his right to come. We do defend, I do. Even though I despise his ideology, I defend the Nazi to come in. But the issue we have around here is the kind of silence in terms of people just being pally with him. I've seen them eating together, I've seen them go singing, they've been filming for 2 years. We've only found out now that he's part of that group. If we never found out, he would have been coming for another 20 years. And the problem here is that he was silly enough to get into camera. How do we know the individuals that are part of that crew, that are part with him, like we know Abu Talha and them, like all of those, how many of them do we know have not been on camera who have that same mindset? And this is the issue that we've got in the UK in general. And unless the Sunni Muslim community actually calls these people out and does some, at least Shamsi in them, like he's tried. I'll give Shamsi the props.
And do you know the other funny, I say, snippet of evidence? On the day that the last Westminster terrorist, so this is the guy that tried to drive a car into bikes outside the Houses of Parliament, but luckily he didn't kill anyone. The day that guy was on trial in the Old Bailey, Abu Qasim was scuttling around outside trying to find the way into the Old Bailey.
Oh, was he? All right. Yeah.
Now, there were other court cases on
that's that
day,
picture you had.
But the second he saw me, he was so unhappy. And I said, well, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? And he looked petrified, quite frankly. So yet another potential link between him and now a convicted terrorist.
Is that the picture you're talking about? Outside
yes,
the court?
That's the one.
That's him outside the court case for one of the extremists. Here he is. Let me just show the thing.
You probably can't focus on that. So it's not like individual little bits of evidence. It's a mounting pile of evidence.
He put a video up on his channel about Paul Williams, and read what he's written on there. Yeah, and we rained upon them homosexuals a rain of stones. Yeah, then see how was the end of the criminal. So this is what he was posting as a response to Paul.
They'll be able to see you, but they won't be able to hear you.
Oh, don't worry. See it.
So anyway, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, all right. Well, you don't. He doesn't get no backlash like I do. So.
Yeah. So is it honestly correct that Adnan Rashid, the leading Sunni light of Speaker's Corner, has personally threatened to visit your temple?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, talk about taking your business out of Speaker's Corner.
So instead of condemning this guy, his cameraman, for somebody that's got links to Anjem Choudary, he's too busy worried about me to go to my temple. Now, I will say this. Anyone goes to my temple, I've been there now, I will sue you for slander if you post anything or email anything. And one of my Sikh brothers will pay the cost, so don't worry about saying Raj is poor. Yeah, I've got people that support me. The other thing is, anyone roll up to my temple asking for me, you can go in. Let me say, anyone can go to a Sikh temple, female. I know in mosque women aren't allowed, but in Sikh temples, a lot of women go there. So you can go there, you can eat for free. No one's going to preach to you. Anyone can go. But if you walk into my temple and you start asking about Raj, does Raj go here? Or what does Raj do? Then you start saying stuff about me, I will prosecute you, because they have cameras in there, and I've been to the police and they've said that if anyone starts turning up and trying to encroach and my mother goes there, I will take that as a direct threat to my family.
So again, a so-called leading light from Speaker's Corner who loves to be trotted out by the BBC and the big questions on a Sunday morning. His ego is the biggest ego you've ever come across. That individual is personally threatening to go to your temple, miles away from Speaker's Corner, to cause you trouble.
It was Saidi that caused most of the issue, because he said it first and he's still saying it. Now, Saidi obviously he called you racist for God knows how long, and he says the N-word, like he says the word, I don't know, and his favourite movie is Django Unchained. He does his...
It is very bizarre that no one, apart from Sunni Muslims at Speaker's Corner, have ever called me a racist.
That's what is Abu Hakima, Abu Bra, Abdul Hakim, all of them extremists you can get. Here he is with Anjem Choudary doing Dawah.
Anyway, I've said my piece
I've
for
said
today,
my piece as well.
I'll leave it to you.
So I think that's it. Do you know what? Yeah, I don't know whether to do a talk about Kashmir. I don't feel like doing it.
I'll leave you to that. I'll catch you later.
You want to do it?
I'm up to you.
He's been sensible today. But I would like to link it with Punjab though. Yeah, because obviously I don't want anyone else to get involved though. So if you want to do it now and get it out of the way, because there are a lot of similarities between the Punjabi Khalistani movement and Kashmiri. Dude, let me get someone else. You're going to be
From your man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
I'm going to eat it for like a year. Yes, we won. Look what we reduced to the jihadis too. They stopped the bombs and they're dropping the pigeon seeds. Victory. Victory. Look what I reduced it to. He's been doing this for hours now.